Oops. Okay, it doesn't have all the functions that this beautiful little thing has. Okay, iPad 3 is coming, so don't buy this yet. Okay, all right. Now, it doesn't have all the functions. It has just 1/4 of the functions, but that's good enough because all the Amazon care about is getting into the market for a particular price point, $99. This is in a much higher price point, $3.99, $4.99, $5.99, depending on the memory size. Is that correct? US dollars? Is about that right? Something like that. Okay. All right. So this is Learning Objective 3 is working backwards from a target price that is defined by the realities of a price point in the market. That's what Learning Objective 3 is about. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 5 is what I want to talk about. I'm going to introduce that to you, the first part, then we're going to have a break, then I'll have a look at the other 2 parts as we go in the second half of today's lecture. Okay, value engineering. It's all about functional analysis, design, and process value analysis. There are 4 areas of value engineering, and I cover 3 of those that are relevant to your learning objective. There's a lot on this slide, and you have that in front of you, and you can slowly digest that. But the point I want to make is functional analysis is about understanding where the product is in the marketplace with its functions. How many of you have more than 1 camera, by the way? Wow. So why do you need more than 1 camera?
Because the new one is coming out.
Different functionality. Isn't that amazing? How many of you have more than 1 phone? Unbelievable. Why do you need more than 1 phone? Like, do you ever use both at the same time? How can you use 2 cameras at the same time? I don't understand it. All right? But markets are like that, right? You can offer the same thing with different functionalities and people will buy the second one or the third one. Is that the only computer you've got?
I've got 1 notebook.
1 notebook?
And 1
iPad. But you only use 1 at a time, right?
Yeah.
You see? That's all about different functionalities of the market. That's the realities of the marketplace, especially in the developed markets. So that's what we mean by functional analysis. Then design analysis, and I'm going to talk about process improvement. So let's go to the camera example. How many of you have one of these groovy cameras? Hands up. Right, it's very interesting that girls have it. Normally the boys have one. Why? Because their girlfriend said, well, if you're going to go with me, you need to take good pictures of me. All right? I know. I always feel sorry for the boyfriend, but that's all right. Okay. I'm not sure if they're a professional photographer or what was the reason for them to spend $15,000 plus on one of these cameras. Okay, but again, this is functional analysis. It's just, if you want to help a factory, ask them, where are you locating your product? Are you locating it down here where all the other competitors are? Or do you have a different function in your product where you're selling it at a different price point? That's where you've got to start. If they've got cost control problems, you've got to start here. You have to start here. And I'll tell you why. Because when you start with functional analysis, guess what? Once I know that you're in this price point here, then we can do number 2. We can think about how better can we improve the design of that product so it does the same function for cheaper. You see? Don't ask that design analysis question before you work out, well, where are you locating your product? Okay, number 1, functional analysis, where are you locating your product? What functions does your product have? Okay, so when you go and talk to these Chinese factories, you want to help them, ask them, where are they locating their product? Okay, and they say, oh, just low cost. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's talk about design. What are the design of your product? Can we change the components? Can we reduce the number of components? If we can do that, then we have potential cost savings. You with me on this? Number one, function analysis positioning. It's a bit of a marketing gibberish, but it's very important for understanding how to manage costs in the organisation. It acknowledges the realities of where the profits, the revenues of the company is coming from. Then you work backwards from that. The cause of your revenue is the customer buying your product. You with me? That's where revenue comes from. When a customer decides, oh, I like the function, I'm going to buy that. They pay the money goes to revenue. That's where the revenue is coming. The revenue is not coming from, oh, we use ABC. This product is cheaper, we make more profit, so therefore you're going to save more costs. No revenue comes from activity-based costing. Okay? It comes from first identifying where is the price point. Then number two, design. Let's reduce the number of components. Let's do something. Is there some way that we can modularize some of the groups of components so they're already pre-assembled, then we slot them in on the assembly line, and then that saves processes, and it slots in, and their quality and the componentry integrate and fit better together, and so then costs are saved that way, because then the assembly is much shorter and we save many more things. But it's the same function at the other end. The customer sees nothing different. Let me give you a real live example. And that's the example what I just said here, that you can change the circuitry on a board. The customer does not see this, but this is constantly changing in the evolution of consumer electronics. It's always changing. Another example, this is a power module. It's an IC, so it's a semiconductor chip, 3 millimeters by 3 millimeters. So how big is that? Just like that, right? It's very small. Do you see that when you buy your consumer electronics? How many of you see that in your product? No. So why would companies go to great lengths to make things smaller and smaller and smaller? Sometimes it may give them an advantage to add in more functions. Okay? My computer battery lasts longer than yours. Okay? On the outside you don't see a difference, but it allows me to market something so I can move into a different price point. Or it allows me to, if I can have new componentry, maybe in 12 months' time that new componentry is going to be cheaper than the current componentry. You see? Because it's a new standard, or it's using new materials or something like that that wasn't available before. Okay, so you add in new designs, you can actually reduce the cost overall. That's how you manage cost pressure. Okay, after the break, one last example, the Chinese fake iPhone. How many of you have seen the Chinese fake iPhone? You saw it last week. You saw it fly through the air. Right, how many of you saw it fly through the air? Yes, good. I'm not sure if it's still working now. Okay, but here's what you see inside. This is inside the phone. That's not outside. So inside, and I'll just give you one little example. In order to save money and time in manufacturing, they solder the LCD panel directly to the main board. So if you drop it, maybe that soldering can uncouple and you lose a circuit and then the phone doesn't work. Whereas in the iPhone, it's screwed together and manufactured together precisely. So if you drop the iPhone, can I practice anyone on iPhone to drop to see if it works? Okay, so you get the point, right? Okay, so you don't see that as a consumer, you see in the outside, but on the inside, this is how they can make the Chinese iPhone for 1/3 or about the cost of the Apple iPhone. You with me? Okay, because they do all these things inside. This is design analysis. Okay, cutting costs by revolutionary design. Let's solder the LCM module to the PCB board. Okay, all right. What I want to do now, we have a break. You have how long? 5 minutes?
10 minutes.
Pardon? 10 minutes. Okay, I want 5, so we negotiate, so 7.5 minutes. Okay? Got to be fair, right? Okay, 7.5 minutes.